Now, let's maybe listen to a TED Talk to restore our faith in humanity. Viktor Frankl, Why Believe in Others? Let's see what Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, has to say about believing in other people and whether or not this sort of kind of weird socialist idea of working together to create a better society. To be honest, I don't care about rep or dem. I just want to live my life without no one telling me how to run my business or what I can or can't do in my free time. I don't really get the passion behind both sides in the streets and all that. Well, largely it's because you can't live by yourself and not be part of a society. Guys are sending me stuff I'm gonna cover later, but first we're gonna listen to this, okay?
They wish to make a lot of money. In Europe, every American student, even more every American adult, is regarded as someone who is just out to make a lot of money. Really, 16% of these students regarded their main goal and concern in life to make a lot of money. I'm quoting literally, make a lot of money. And you know what the top class, the top category, we say category, what do you say? Category was among, you excuse me, but I know I am speaking a marvelous accent without the slightest English. Now, you know what the top category was? 78% of these American youngsters were concerned, as they expressed it themselves, with finding a meaning and purpose in their lives. So this is a realistic view on man. And you won't believe it. Gray hair, my age, I started taking flying lessons recently. Do you know what my flying instructor told me? If you are starting here, wish to get here, say east, heading for this, and you have a crosswind, you will drift and you will land here. So you have to do what we pilots call crabbing, he told me, C-R-A-B, crabbing. You have to head for north of this airfield, and you have to fly that way, you see, as if you headed in this direction. If you are heading here above this airfield, then you will actually land here. But if you head for here, you are landing here. This holds also for man, I would say. If we take man as he really is, we make him worse. But if we overestimate him, it's premature, your applause, you will soon know why. If we seem to be idealists and are overrating man, and looking at him that high, here above, you know what happens? We promote him to what he really can be. So we have to be idealists in a way, because then we'll wind up as the real realists. And you know who has said this? If we take man as he is, we make him worse. But if we take man as he should be, we make him capable of becoming what he can be. This was not my flight instructor, this was not me, this was Goethe. He said this verbally. And now you will understand why I, in one of my writings, once said, this is the most apt maxim and motto for any psychotherapeutic activity. So if you don't recognize A young man's will to meaning, man's search for meaning. You make him worse, you make him dull, you make him frustrated, you still add and contribute to his frustration. While if you presuppose in this man, if in this so-called criminal or juvenile delinquent or drug abuse and so forth, there must be a what we call spark, a spark of search for meaning. Let's recognize this, let's presuppose it, and then you will elicit it from him, and you will make him become what he in principle is capable of becoming.
Hell yes. Now guys, that's exactly the kind of thinking that we're having here on this channel. And I don't mean that to be like, yeah, we're like Viktor Frankl, everybody, haha. No, what I mean by this is that, we don't need to autoplay here. But what I mean by this is, when a lot of people think of socialism, they think of these idealists, right? Like, we're pursuing some utopian strategy. And in some cases, we might be, right? But I think that pursuing that and failing to a degree still leaves us out in a better position than we are currently. Let's see. Thoughts on tagging family in all the noteworthy meme videos? I have no thoughts on that. I don't tag my family in anything. Also, cunning linguist. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to be left alone, pay your taxes, mind your own business. I think you should be okay. But I think that if you work at a company, you should have an equal say in how that company is run as everyone else in the company. I think you're entitled to have your opinion about your work matter at your workplace. And I also think that if you choose to mind your own business and you don't want to work, I think that should be fine too. I don't think that you should have to work to be able to live. Talk about Trump's $750 federal income tax. I don't know what there is to talk about. Like, yeah, it's bad. It's really bad, and he should probably be forced to pay his taxes. We should. One of my controversial opinions is that we should invest more in the IRS. Because it's shown that if you invest more in the IRS, we get more tax money. It's like a ratio of like 1 to 2. And we should specifically pay the IRS more so that rich people can be audited more. Because the IRS currently has so little funding that they choose not to audit the richest people in our society, who are often the ones dodging the most taxes. Eileen, right? That is bad. I mean, like, we can win you over, I think. Fund the IRS. Exactly. How many times has he gone bankrupt? Lulz. I think it's like 13 times. That's a cool perspective. Right on. I can live off the grid, hunt where I live. Would be cool if I didn't have to pay land tax or any of that. Totally cool. Yeah, the issue with, like, paying taxes would just be that, like, I would prefer your taxes go to things that, like, tangibly make people's lives better. Like, and that has a lot of knock-on effects to make your own life better, even if you don't see, like, the direct results of it yourself. Not everyone on the right is bad. Yeah, not everyone on the right is bad. In fact, I think that we can work together with a lot of people on the right on very specific issues to get things that are positive passed. I just tend to think that I tend to think that we have good enough arguments to be able to bring people over to the left. Would be kind of fun getting a job for the IRS. I mean, you do you, comrade. It's not my idea of fun. I'm not skilled when it comes to numbers, Fat cats are what fatten the fat rats. Indeed, indeed. What issues do you think we can work together with the right on? Um, oh gosh, I just had some in my head. For example, I think we can work together with the right to like get money out of politics. That's a big one. I think that we can work together with the right on like Revolt said, improving the material conditions of people because that's largely in the best interests of everybody. And I'm going to stress this: most Republicans aren't obscenely wealthy. Like I will say, statistically, most people in all of the parties in the United States are not obscenely wealthy. Just statistically, that breaks down. Now, there are more wealthy people in the Republican Party. However, I think that we can make really good arguments for people who aren't in a wealthy position on the right to come over to our side and support those kinds of policies. Feels like the quantification of their value in a capitalist system, kind of interesting. You are worth 52,000 a year to some corporation in jail. Absolutely, absolutely. Abolish private prisons. I think we can make good arguments to Republicans for like, yeah, it's pretty fucked up that private companies make money off of people being in prison, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I think we can make good arguments for that. I think also we can make good arguments for the fact that like ICE detention camps being privately run is like insanely fucked up. Like, especially if they're like a QAnon type person and you like link them to like, hey, kids are being raped in these prison camps. Maybe that's a bad thing, right? As soon as you can't spend more than that, you are reduced to your minimum value and they arrest you. Yeah. Oh, you always like the idea of looking at other people's financials? Interesting. There's a lot of ear covering and la 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 la. I don't want to hear that. Like a 3-year-old on all sides. Am I right? Yeah, I mean, largely. Like, a lot of people in the Democratic Party aren't like in favor of my positions, you know. But wouldn't a conservative point of view on improving material positions be nearly impossible? I don't think we should simply shun people on the right, but I don't want us to concede more than politically necessary. Absolutely. I don't think that we should concede, and this is why, by the way, I say on very specific issues. On very specific issues with clear intentions on how these policies are implemented, we can ally with these people. But often this is why, like, I don't want to be one of those lefties who's like, wow, Tucker Carlson is so based and smart. Look at this smart big boy on Fox News, the biggest Fox News commentator talking about how corporations are bad. Wow, wowee. He's really kind of getting it right. He's almost a leftist, guys. Like, I'm not one of those lefties, but I do think that there is a degree to which we can work with people on the right and win them over with our messaging on the merits of our messaging alone, and get them to agree with us on singular issues. They might not agree with us on our broad platform, but I think on singular issues we can get enough support from the right. Now, when I say support from the right, by the way, I mean that distinct as from like support from like politicians on the right. Politicians on the right might not be as susceptible to this, but I think people on the right can be. Tucker Carlson is not and will never be my ally in any shape or form whatsoever. Absolutely, comrade. But there are a lot of people on the left who are duped by his kind of rhetoric. And I want to be clear that this will never be this channel.